Hello friends, it is Rilhon here and welcome back to another tour video. It's been a while since I did a proper one. I mean, the last one I did was Olympic like a couple of weeks ago, but my proper last one that I talked in was 5 months ago now. It was the Adriatic one. And finally I have another ship for you here today to record and go through and yeah, talk a bit about. So this is the 1934 refit of Olympic. And yeah, I just finished her. If this could load, please, thank you. So this is kind of a big project. It's a lot of unknowns with it. We do know quite a bit of how she looked. We have the deck plans, and we also have a lot of the color schemes because she was very different in terms of how she was painted inside, how she was fitted with the different rooms and layouts and the different color schemes. So a lot of things are different, but yeah, I should have them all. At least I hope I do. Probably not. There's a lot of things that are definitely wrong, so this will probably be updated over time. The sun is very bright right now, I can barely see. Let's turn off the shaders so you can see easier. And let's zoom out a bit. There we go. So this has been, I think it is around a month of work, if even a bit less. And I have gotten help from Dooku, as always. We worked on the suites, mainly these new B-Deck suites, which we're gonna get to in a bit. So I'm just gonna drag the render distance down a bit because I'm currently on my laptop and it's not as good as my main PC, so we're gonna have a shorter render distance here. But you know, let's get started and go from the boat deck all the way down to the tank top as we usually do. We are here on the boat deck. We begin. The first thing you'll notice is that the bridge wings here now have this little protruding, is that how you say that word? I don't know. Thing here, so you can sort of lean forward and see a bit better. That's what I think these are. That's the case with a lot of ships of the time. Like for example, Normandy had these. Queen Mary, I think, as well. So it's very not very useful. I imagine they were as well, but very common, at least. That's what I meant. We have the bridge, little thing on top here, like a little observation platform with the compass, and of course the ladders leading up. They also enclosed the bridge, so you have these sliding doors, and this would have been just covered up in rough seas, I imagine. Otherwise they would probably leave these open. It's quite convenient to be able to walk out and, you know, look at things. But yeah, the bridge remained pretty much the same. Except of course when we go into the wheelhouse, this is very much the same, but then the layout afterwards is very different from how she looked in 1911. We have the chart room here and also the navigation room, and the captain's cabin is the same, but there's a lot of changes with the layout of the officers' quarters. Here's the assistant captain. That was a role that was introduced after the war. No, it was in 1913, I think they added it. And yeah, he's sort of the captain's main assistant. He had a lot of responsibilities to take pressure off the captain's role, pretty much. And then we have the officer's smoke room here. This was previously here in the middle, but it was moved out to the side, and it's very similar to Titanic's placement. Here's some wireless operators. They had a lot more of these than in 1911. In 1911 they had like 2, while in 1934 they would have had, would it have been like 6 or 8? So yeah, quite a bit better to have more, so they wouldn't have to work as much. Yeah, here's the wireless room. This was also moved to inside the ship. You have the skylight up there. Titanic's exact position of this room as well, so they're the same in that regard. Then on the other side, all of the officers are lined up. Chief officer here, going all the way back to sixth officer. And here's some stewards, and here we're back on the bridge again. Let's go outside actually, talk a bit about the lifeboats. So here they are. Olympics lifeboat layout was of course very different from in 1911. She originally had 16 lifeboat stations, while in 1934 she now has 24, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, that's right. And these were unique also in that they were much taller and stronger, the davits, but also you had these so-called nested lifeboats, which basically means that you have the normal sized big lifeboats, and then you have a smaller one that sort of quote-unquote nests inside. You have them put inside, and then you raise it up, and then you lower it down to the promenade deck here. You board it, and you do the same with this boat here as well. So most of these had 2 boats. The aft 4 sets had 1 boat only, but then these ones had 2. And then we have the emergency lifeboat here, which is always swung out down to the promenade deck. And then we also have a set here. This is the motorboat, which is covered up. I actually built the motorboat at first, but then I realized that it was always covered with a tarp or a canvas cover, so I decided that... Well, I was very sad because I spent a lot of time on that boat, so can't really admire it anymore, which is sad, but whatever. There's also all the ventilation equipment is different. It was very much expanded in terms of size, but also how many ventilators and vents there were, and fans and such. Before we go all the way to here, we're gonna of course talk about the elephant in the room, the very green grand staircase. This was changed in 1933, I believe. One of the last changes done to Olympic, because of course he was retired in 1935, put out of service very suddenly. It wasn't originally planned to be so sudden, but she was sadly withdrawn. And yeah, this was meant to be a refreshment of Olympic to bring some new life into her. And hot take, I actually love this staircase. This recreation doesn't do it justice, in my opinion. It's just that the block palettes, the options that we have in Minecraft, are very limited. So this was the best I could come up with, but I'm sure you could do much better if you had more colors. And there are tons of great recreations on the internet, in particular Geo Castro's design of this 1934 staircase. It's beautiful. It's very kind of a pale green, Georgian green I think it's called. And you also have this beautiful linoleum floor. This was, of course, was Britannic's flooring. They moved it from Britannic after need to do this, there we go. I noticed that after Britannic sunk, of course, she had all of the linoleum tiles and paneling stored in various warehouses, so Olympic would have taken a lot of that stuff, and this is the case with a lot of different rooms. If we move aft, we have the gymnasium, which is pretty much the same, except I think a little bit of difference in the equipment layout and stuff. But other than that, it's very similar. Actually, let's go out now. Yeah, to the boat deck, let's do the rest. There used to be a compass platform here up on the raised roof over the lounge. Instead, there is now a gyro compass room. Has a gyro compass inside. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't really know how those work, so you'll have to look it up. You can also notice that there is a darker, like a protective layer of paint on top of the officers' quarters. I'm not sure if this was brown or not. I've seen some recreations that it was brown, so I decided to have it that way for now. It could be grey as well, as it originally was, kind of like a darker color, but yeah, that'll remain that way for now. Of course, here we have the officers' mess where they ate. I don't know if this probably wouldn't have changed. I don't know if they would have spent much time on the crew quarters, honestly. They did do that here though. This is the officer's smoke room. This wasn't originally here on Olympic. It was added later in 1913. Titanic and Britannic, of course, would have gotten these on her introduction, but Olympic only got hers later. So before they just had this open deck space here that they could walk around and smoke, but good for them, they could now smoke inside. Lovely being inside. So this entire deck house with the tank rooms is now exactly the same as Titanic's, or more or less at least. Here's the 4-funnel deck house. This was pretty much the same, except that they added a large dog kennel here. Gotta love it. Olympics dog kennels were supposedly down in the F-deck first class galley, is what I've heard. I've never really seen any evidence of that on any deck plans, but I don't know. Dog kennels were apparently fairly new to ships at this time, so this would have been a new feature anyway. This is also a new feature with these radio rooms on the sides of the second class staircase deck house. And yeah, I guess this was fairly new technology they introduced to Olympic to complement the wireless transmitting set over there. You have the machine room for the equipment on this side. And of course you have the tourist class staircase here. I said second class, it's called tourist class by this point. We'll get to that in a bit, why it's called that, when we get to A deck and B deck and so on. Yeah, that's the boat deck. Let's head down to the promenade deck. Not A deck, because by this point they had changed the numbering or name system of the decks. So promenade deck was once called A deck. That was moved down, so B deck is now A deck, C deck is now B deck, and so on, all the way down. But yeah, this is the promenade deck, and it's pretty much the same, the outside at least. We'll begin with the interior though. So we have the grand staircase here again. Forward we have some cabins, we of course have the elevators here. We have the cabins. There's a little bit different here in terms of layout. You have a lot more private bathrooms, as you can see, on both sides, and then we also have some different cabin layouts pretty much. And they also have a little bit different decor. The bed frames are different. Every cabin now has parquetry flooring, and yeah, some small differences like that. And yeah, these are pretty much the same, so I won't go through all of these, but yeah, there's some various rooms like pantries, service lockers, bathrooms, and lavatories. Traditionally in the middle of the ship, they were concentrated around the funnel uptakes. And they also added in some fire doors after Titanic sunk. They added in these so you had a more safe ship. They also added in these revolving doors to counteract the wind tunnel effect that you would have. Another fire door here. Oh yeah, I forgot. Here's the drawing room. They removed this alcove as they would have done on Britannic, because it wasn't used that well. In the place of that door, they added in these cabins. These are pretty much the same as would have been included on Britannic as well. So you have these bedroom B style staterooms here. There's some more over here. See if we can go through here. Yeah, here is the drawing room again. This was originally referred to as the reading and writing room, but they started to call it the drawing room later. Here is the lounge. You can see it's very dark inside because we are currently showing King Kong. This was refitted to include a cinema projector screen. Over here it's currently set up for that purpose, so we shut off all the lights and all of the chairs and the couches and sofas are now set up so you can watch a nice movie, and I think this is really cool. On the side here is a cinema box. You can see here with some movies inside. I don't have any movies now sadly, but there would have been. Let's move forward. They painted these corridors green as well, apparently. And also you have the pantry in here, which is pretty much the same as originally. They did, however, add this staircase going up to the boat deck. That wasn't originally here. Let's move aft. We have the aft grand staircase, which was the same in decor as the forward one. It's also green. And you have these cabins on the sides, which were added after the war. Same as the ones was on Titanic. Also, unlike Titanic, there were a couple more cabins here. There are 2 more, 39 and 37. There we go. In the smoke room here, they changed out the flooring. So this was Britannic's original flooring. It was green and cream, I believe. And it had this cool little detailed piece in the middle of the room. Other than that, it was pretty similar. Mother of pearl detailing and yeah, various other things. We also have the little lavatory toilet here, as well as this very tight cramped space here with the crew staircase. This isn't supposed to be accessible through this corridor, but I couldn't make it fit otherwise, so this was the only way I could make it work. Further aft we have the veranda cafe. This was exactly the same as originally. On both sides you have it here, as well as the pantry here in the middle. That's pretty much a deck. Also, one thing I'll add right now is some swings, because they added some swings later on this little spar for the kids to play, so that's nice. Very high up, but I don't know if they can. Yeah, they have to jump up. I guess their parents will have to lift them up on them, but yeah, we're gonna have those there now. Let's move forward. We're gonna start with A deck, which is formerly B deck. We're gonna start with the foxhole deck, which is the same level as A deck. This was very similar, except they added a ton more vents later, and they also repainted the capstans to this black and white livery. This was more common with, I think, Cunard liners, including Lusitania. Mauritania had that design, I think. Might have been a way to have more consistency after all this was the times of Cunard White Star, so yeah, they wanted consistency is my guess. Here is the second class, a tiny promenade here in the front. You can overlook the bow. There's a staircase leading up. You can't go further up than here though, this is only for crew. And you also can't walk here anymore. There used to be a promenade all the way back to the stern, but not anymore. The only way you can get inside is through doors here. Yeah, there was apparently never a door added there for some reason, but yeah. We begin here with the A-deck suites, the first ones of the deck, and these were actually added later in 1928, one of those refits. We have some regular rooms here, but in A7 they suite start. So this is the first one, this is the Empire style, based on the previous Empire rooms we have on the ship before. These rooms are a little bit weird. There's not a lot of information about them, sadly. This is Queen Anne style. There are some variations of this. We have the early Georgian style. Here is the modern style, or modern. Very vibrant, colorful rooms. Here's the Queen Anne again, another color scheme to it. Here is the Louis XVI style. That's the expansion right there in the way, so I'm gonna go here. Here is the Chippendale style. And finally we have the Tudor style. Now these are all, like I said, they are kind of hard to come by in terms of information and the color schemes and stuff. We have the Olympic auction catalog where we get some idea of certain rooms, but not all of them, sadly. I'm gonna change the plans there, and here we go. We have the Adam style room. Here's another Queen Anne, another different color scheme. As we move further forward again, we get to Chippendale, another cabin. Here is another Louis XVI style cabin. Here's another modern cabin. Colonial style. Tudor style again. And finally, the fourth and final Queen Anne style. So that is all of these suites. We have been able to piece together some colors. Some are based on the Olympic auction catalog, others are based on some recreations on the internet. Geo Castro have served as some great inspiration for these rooms. We also looked at images on Google of the styles in question, so like the various designs and color schemes, pretty much. We tried our best, but there's very limited information, so it's a very good chance that a lot of these are wrong. Here is the Grand Staircase again, the A-deck landing. A-deck. Very large entrance. You have the entrance doors on the sides here. This is the A-deck Promenade, and this only spans from this point all the way back to the restaurant and a cafe over there. We'll get to that in a bit. Let's move on to the original suites, which aren't so original anymore because they were modernized. Let me get the plans up and running. There we go. So here is the first one. This is the Adam style sitting room. I think this is original to its original look. Then we have the Italian Renaissance cabin stateroom. Moving further aft here, we get to one of the bedroom A styles, Holland & Wolff's own Louis XV style it is. This was painted green later in her career, and yeah, they wanted to spruce her up a bit, is what I think, and it seems to have been done in both of these. There are two of the same cabin. So we move further aft here. We get to the Dutch suite, so this is modern Dutch, old Dutch, and then there's another modern Dutch here. Here we get to some very interesting colors. This is one of the modern cabins. This is now painted pink, and we decided to do that with all of the modern cabins. And indeed all of the, well, not all, most of the bedroom A and bedroom B cabins. So this one is pink and this one is pink, all three in a row. And this was slightly different. This is the Georgian cabin, but it was mentioned that it was also painted pink in the auction catalog, so we did a different design in it. Looks weird, but whatever. Here is another modern cabin, still pink. They liked pink and blue and green in the 30s. Another modern cabin, another pink one. And this is a blue and pink one. This is Louis XVI style. It's supposed to be closed. For the aft here, we'll get to this in a bit. The staircase. Another pink cabin. This is Louis XV. So this was one of the bedroom A styles, and this is bedroom B, another pink one. And yeah, these are very similar on the other side as well. This one is blue. This is not one of the Louis XV cabin styles that Harlan and Wolff did. This is one of the ones that they contracted out to build to another company. This was painted blue. It was originally grey painted. Here is pink. This is modern. For bedroom B, same thing. Another pink. This is modern again. And then here is a Louis XIV style. This seems to have remained the same in the years after. Here's 3 modern cabins in a row. Very pink. And here is an Empire cabin. Queen Anne. But unlike the new cabins, this one is painted dark. Oh, actually no, it's not painted, it's original unpainted mahogany paneling. The ones in the bow are the ones that's painted white. Here's Louis XVI. There are many variants of this style. And here are the green bedroom A cabins we saw on the other side. Here is Empire style, one of many styles, one of many variants of that style. And here is a variant of Louis XVI again, the sitting room. Alright, and then on the inside here, on A deck, there are some cabins, standard cabins, as well as bathrooms, lavatories, etc. Let's go all the way to the aft. Here's the aft grand staircase again. And we also have the new restaurant reception room. It was way more sparsely populated with chairs and tables than in 1913. This was originally set up and used as an extension of the restaurant, I believe. But that was changed later, and now it's kind of a open area room with some piano here, very nice. And we also have the expanded restaurant. This is how it looked originally, but they expanded this out. It ended here before. There was a wall here. But they ripped this out, extended it out to the side of the ship. There was a promenade here before. Exterior promenade. And you also have an expanded galley. Much larger now than it was before. So yeah, lots of different rooms in here. Let's go outside again. Or inside this room. Let's move. It can go through these sliding doors here. So this is the Café Parisien. This was a feature that Titanic had originally, which Olympic later got in 1913. We also have a sliding door here from, yeah, here. There was also a bar added here in very late in Olympic's career, 1933 something, I think. Yeah, same as Titanic, except a little bit different in decor. It changed a bit over the years as well. Now we get to the tourist class. So, I'm gonna try and explain this to you guys now, because originally, of course, Olympic had 3 classes. First class, second class, and third class. In 1925 or something like that, they introduced a 4th class to the ship, which was called Tourist Third Cabin. And that basically took up the entire aft section of 3rd class. And in 1933, no 32 or something, they decided to combine second class with tourist third cabin and create a new class called tourist class. And tourist third cabin, I should mention, is not the same as third class, which was still in the bow. So that's an important distinction to make. But yeah, let's start here with tourist class. So this was fairly similar. The staircase was the same, except for the flooring, I believe, was changed because of heavy wear and tear during the war. It wasn't originally green, I think. It was originally red, but it was changed. We have the smoke room, remained the same pretty much over the years. We have this little corridor outside where we have the aft staircase. This one had red tiles, apparently, according to the auction catalog. So the forward staircase has green, this one has red. There's also some more vents, cowl vents added across the ship here, you can see examples. And also notable is that the aft deck cranes were painted orange, at least the top part, not the bases themselves. They painted the same color as the masts, I believe, or at least like kind of like a brown color, so I don't know if this is entirely correct, but it's something like this at least. They also added this staircase going up. This was added in the war, they never removed them. And also this gangway leading across the aft well deck. Here is the poop deck. This was pretty much the same, except they extended the docking bridge wings out to the side, which I forgot to do. There we go, those are extended out now. This is why it's so good to do these tour videos. Not only do you guys learn how the ship's layout looks and stuff, but I also find mistakes I've done. I always find mistakes I've done. And yeah, it's pretty great. This is was formerly the third class promenade here on the poop deck, but now it is all tourist class. You could walk across, you could walk down to the well deck, walk to the poop deck, and they even had these coverings over the railing to provide a little bit more protection against elements, I think. Also have the nameplate. Of course, everyone knows this, but they I forgot to mention that earlier, but they lowered down the iconic white star line shear stripe to make it more consistent with the other ships. It didn't go all the way back though. It would have interfered with the nameplate, so it stopped around here, like a little bit aft of the docking bridge. So it looked like this pretty much. So now we are here in the bow section again. We're gonna move in onto a B deck, or formerly C deck, and we're gonna go through this covered up hose pipe into the windlass space. They added this bulkhead here. This was raised up all the way to this deck. Yeah, we have the windlass gear here to power the capstans and the docking machinery. And then we find the first major changes in terms of layout here. This was changed a bit. We have the storekeeper's mess now instead, and boiler room attendant's mess. We have some stairs to C deck, which was not really used anymore. And we have a greaser's mess, carpenter's shop, carpenter's store. Shop and store different apparently. And then on the other side we have the seaman's mess. This was original. A galley coal store, fan room, stairs down, stairs again, crow's nest leading up into the mast. And we also have the crew galley, which was the same as the original. And yeah, that's pretty much it with the under the forecastle deck. We also have a lamp locker here. We have the third class entrance going down on both sides, as well as the paint shop here. This is the forward well deck. Pretty much the same, except they raised the hatches up to be a little bit taller. Let's move forward into the first class area. here we go. So this was pretty much the same. They of course modernized the furnishings of the cabins, but otherwise the layout is the same. Except I forgot to mention this in the A deck section, but they added this new forward staircase to first class, going all the way from B deck, or sorry, A deck, all the way down to E deck and the squash court. We don't need to look at these cabins. They all had a private bathroom. They were more of suites, to be honest, because they were connected like this, and they each had their own private bath like this. But that was original to Olympics, so not anything new or interesting. Here is the grand staircase, C deck or B deck landing. I'm sorry when I always say the deck's wrong, but this is B deck now. There used to be a cloakroom over here. This was replaced with cabins. Look like this, all of them look like that. And we also of course have the equerry office over on this side, same as always except painted. Here are the suites again, so I'm gonna try and go through all of these. This is the Regency cabin. They apparently removed all of the gilded detailing, made it the same color as the rest of the room, made it more modest pretty much. Here is the Empire cabin again, a different style to it. Here is a bedroom A cabin again, painted pink, or pink and cream I think it was. It's a little bit different than the other ones. Doors open. Here is Louis XVI style. We have Queen Anne and Empire. Here's modern again, 3 in a row I think. Yep. Layout was similar to what was on B deck above in terms of the styles used. Here is Louis XIV. Here is Georgian style. Here is Louis XV style, still painted grey. See if I can get forward. There we go. Here is, what is this one? This is Georgian again. Here is Empire again, a lot of empires. Here is a pink painted Louis XV cabin, or bedroom A. Here's bedroom B. Bedroom B. Bedroom B. Voice crack. And bedroom B again. And let's go over to the other side. Can we go through here? Yeah, here we go. Here is a modern style. Modern. Modern. French style, or bedroom A. Here is modern again. And here is Louis XV. What was this one? This was Adam style, I think. Yeah, that's right, Adam style. Here is Louis XVI, another cabin of that style. I'm gonna go for spectator now, he's fly through. Here is early Georgian. Here's Empire. And Italian Renaissance. Here is 3 modern cabins. Here is modern Dutch, old Dutch, and modern Dutch. And to finish off, we have 2 bedroom A cabins, as well as an Adam cabin, as well as Louis XIV sitting room. That is that. Let's move aft to the aft grand staircase. They added these beautiful new sort of shops the barbershop here and the ladies' hairdresser on the other side. So let's look at the barbershop first. The barbershop, of course, was here before, but there was just a wall here. Now they added this storefront glass section, which looks gorgeous. Has a lot of different items on display. Of course, the barbershop and the hairdresser, you could actually buy souvenirs, trinkets, stuff you could use on the ship, like toothbrushes and soap and stuff like that. Staircase here in the middle. There is the drawing room here, as well as the hairdresser on this side, which was a later addition. A bit smaller than the barbershop. And then, yeah, further aft here on this side is the maids and valet saloon. Valet saloon. And the post office and wireless transmitting officers saloon. So move aft, we get to some crew quarters, like the doctor. I think it was the restaurant manager and assistant purser, assistant doctor, restaurant manager, and chief steward. Okay, I see. I always forget. Restaurant manager is in here. His office is in there. Here is the surgery through this door. And it leads down into the hospital on C deck. Here is the enclosed tourist class promenade. It goes over here. There's a watertight bulkhead here. This is a remnant from when they had this little section here be the tourist fur cabin, because they needed some enclosed promenade space. And then this would have been second class, but when they combined the two classes, this is all just one. This would have probably been opened all the time, so you can walk through. That's an extra level of protection in case of like bad storms. You could just close this up and there wouldn't be any water spilling in. Let's go into tourist class forward staircase here. Yeah, you already saw this on deck above. Here is the tourist class reading and writing room. It was referred to as in 1944. It was now also a cinema. There was a cinema projector, one of the walls, as well as a dance floor in the middle. So this is set up to be a dance, pretty much. Here's the aft staircase, or the middle staircase, because there's now a third one forward. Let's get to it, shall we? Here's the aft well deck. Much the same as original, except that they now enclosed this, so they added these walls here with some watertight doors. You can walk inside. Tourist entrance. So this is the aft tourist staircase. This was now one class, so this was formerly the third class staircase, but now it was for tourist. So that you had the green tiles here. Here is the tourist lounge. Or formerly the third class general room. Very much nicer now than it was originally. And on the other side there is the smoke room. So the tourist class had 2 smoke rooms, which is a fun little detail. This was also nicer with some more personal furniture, I guess you could say. Yeah, this leads down all the way to E deck, I believe. And that is C deck, or B deck, sorry, but with one exception. No, this is C deck, right? Or is it B deck? I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. I forget. This is the steering gear, which was unchanged from its 1911 look. Okay, now it's time for C deck, so we're going to go to the well deck here and walk down these third class entrance stairs on one side. This is extremely different now. This is now been chopped up. It used to be the large open space room. It has now been replaced with many different rooms. So we have an enquiry office here, where passengers could enquire, as you might imagine. Third class chief steward has his cabin here, as well as some stewards, other stewards. There is some cook's cabins in here. Another staircase leading down. Here is the third class lounge. This was added in 1928 or something, or after, can't remember. So yeah, new to ship, quite nice actually. Yeah. But after we have a set of staircase going down again, and we also have, I believe this was a pantry. The plans are kind of unclear on this, so I will have to update this later if new information comes to light. We have the barbershop, first class barbershop, as well as the smoke room, first class smoke room, new one, new smoke room here in the bow. Further forward, we have some new cabins. We also have this staircase here. This is first class entrance. We have the bar in here, as well as some first class cabins. So this used to be the fireman quarters. There used to be a wall here separating it completely, but that was removed, and they combined these spaces. And this staircase wouldn't have been used anymore. It was just crew, I think. So yeah. There are some staircases down here and some baths. We also have all of their cabins here. They all look the same. Unlike 1911 though, they would have all had wash basins, so they would have had a certain degree of luxury that wouldn't have been afforded in 1911. Okay, let's move further aft. We get to some first class spaces through this wall. This was pretty much the same now as B deck above. These sort of suites with the private bath. They're all attached to each other, these rooms. We also have the staircase here again. Let's move further forward. I did a mistake. This is not first class anymore. I believe it could be used as first class, but this is now tourist class. So I don't know how they would have solved this here. How did first class passengers get to the Scotch court? Because down here this was also tourist class, so I guess that they made an exception and they could come through, but who knows. Let's move all the way forward. This is the boarding entrances. They were remade, of course, in 1912 even. That was like very shortly after Olympic was introduced. They redid this. They cut down the sizes of them. They of course extended out all the way here. They're now small. They're on the same layout as Titanic. And this room is still the same, but much smaller, because in 1933 or something, they decided that the dining room needed a dance floor, and because of that they lost a lot of potential seating space, so they decided to cut away the wall here, move it further this direction. That means the reception room lost some space, but the dining room gained it, so that's how that looks right now. Let's move further aft. We get into the dining room. This is different. I will be the first to admit that maybe the color scheme is not quite right. I might change this out to prismarine instead. This was painted a light blue and pink color scheme, the dining room. And they of course also had this massive dance floor in the middle, with this orchestra stand here, and some nice mirrors here in the front, so you could dance. But other than that, yeah, it was the same. They also added these little privacy screens here to kind of hide the galley as much as possible. There used to be two sets of doors here on both sides of the ship. They removed those because they weren't necessary. Here is the galley. This was pretty much the same. There were some minor changes, but nothing too major. They changed these stairs a bit, so you can now go down to this side. This staircase wasn't here originally, it was only on this side. Titanic had this layout though. Yeah, this is the first class pantry on both sides, and if we move into here we get to the galley proper, where they actually cook the food. They added a watertight bulkhead here. That wasn't here before, it wasn't this far up. They also added a kosher kitchen here for the user board, so this is nice. To be a little more inclusive for US passengers, to sort of counteract how things were going in Nazi Germany at the time, where they were removing rice for use. They decided to increase them on British and American ships, which is nice. Let's move aft. We get to the tourist class area of the kitchens here. We have this pantry here. This was divided in two originally because you had the tourist third cabin and the second class dining rooms. So yeah, it was probably wouldn't have been divided up anymore by the 1934 because they were just one class here. Yeah, little small pantry here. We have the hoist going down to the food stores, as well as the printing room. This was moved from way forward over to here. We have a staircase going down to the food stores, as well as the potato room. Gotta have it. Let's go over to this side and into the second class, or sorry, tourist class dining room. The starboard side one at least. So this was painted pink and white, it seems, which I really dig, honestly. I really like it. It's much more bright and airy now. I like it. Also, we forgot to check out the hospital, so this is through this wall here. It can only be accessed through this staircase that we saw before, with the surgery. Forgot to close this door like a maniac. This was the same though, over the years. Let's go through here again. We get to the second class tourist class dining room. We have the forward staircase. And then on this side we have the former... Originally this was one room, there wasn't a wall here. This is one big room, second class dining room, but this was divided in two, so this would have been tourist third cabin. I really struggle. And this would have been second class, but they were combined. I don't think they removed the wall. You could just walk through these doors here. And yeah, of course here. So this was never painted, apparently. Well, it was painted, I think, but it was they scratched away the paint, like the psychopaths they were. Let's add some more of these. Got to add some of these handrest details. Better that I do them now, so I won't forget about them later. And in here is the cinema projector. There was one for tourist class, tourist third cabin. There were two for tourist class, because there was one up in the library as well, for the reading and writing room. Here's the main tourist stairs, tourist third cabin stairs into the dining room before. Here is a tourist lounge, I think this is labeled as in 1934. Because they didn't need as much dining room space, so they allocated it to just be a simple lounge instead. Let's go forward. We get to the middle tourist staircase, and then on the side here we of course have some cabins for tourist class. It would have remained pretty much the same as originally. Here is a remnant of the tourist third cabin area, because they had these red and blue linoleum tiles both in their cabins and hallways, and this was a separation point here, but I decided to remove it because we don't really need it anymore. There was a wall, a door here that only crew could use. Some more cabins here. This of course leads into the lounge. On both sides here we have some lavatories and baths, and in here is the aft tourist staircase. Did I? Oh, okay. I thought there used to be a crew only sign, but now there isn't anymore. Good. We have the enquiry office here, another one, and a surgery. Yeah, we have some nice seating arrangements and stuff here. We have the main stairs, and we have some lavatories on the sides there as well. And here are some of the small cabins here in the stern for tourist class. Alright, let's move on to D deck. So let's fly in through these portholes here. We get to some third class cabins here in the bow. We have the anchor holes, I guess, going down into the chain locker. So we have some third class cabins here in the bow again. Let's go forward. These were originally fireman's quarters. They were renovated into third class areas. We have the staircases here again, going down and up. And let's move forward for this wall. We get to some crew areas. Third class could walk here, but this was mainly crew cabins. We have some stewards, all look the same. We have some lavatories for ladies. And we have some more stewards. This is the hatches here. Another one here. Steward cabins or quarters, and firemen or greasers in here. There's some more lavatories on that side. We also have a staircase leading up to some third class areas, and we also have a staircase going down to some more third class areas in here. So let's do Scotland Road first. So there wasn't a watertight door here first, but they added that because it's an incredible design flaw to have it just be one long corridor without any interruptions, so it's a good thing they did that. There are a ton of crew quarters along this corridor, so I won't go through them all, but these are some carpenters, masters at arms, lookout men, bosuns and mates, quartermasters, etc. Look like this pretty much. And they also had their messes in here where they ate. And then we have some... This is a staircase down into the linen storage room. And here is... There's a lot of stewards' lavatories in here. This makes sense because there are a lot of them. Plate washers and scullions. So all of the crew quarters look the same pretty much. They look like this. So nothing too interesting. Here's another watertight door. Second class stewards. Pantry stewards, butler. Here is an emergency exit into the grand staircase. This is the D-deck landing of it. This was shut off because this area was now allocated to tourist class. So they didn't actually use the elevators at all on this level anymore. There wasn't any point in doing that. Actually, let's turn the lights off here, why not? Because they wouldn't have used it anymore anyway, so... Cool little detail. Yeah, let's move back here. To Scotland Road, the main crew companionway. Let's move forward. On this inside wall, we of course have some escape access points to the boiler rooms. We'll get to those later. Some more stuff here like stewards and cooks going down to E-deck. Saloon waiters, large dormitory spaces. Here are these staircases down into the third class dining room. We'll get to that later. Also have the steward's mess, which was formerly a section of the third class dining room. And we have another section here of the third class dining room on the other side. We'll get to that later. Let's move further aft. We get to another watertight door here. And some engineers, storekeepers, musicians. Yeah, all the lot. We have the chief baker assistant chef and a chef. Here's a chef in here. Oh dear, I'm getting really tired now. Losing my voice. We have the galley, yes, up here. Further aft we have the engineer's mess. In here. And a little pantry to them here. And also the chief engineer's office, or the engineer's office at least. I believe many could use this office. An entrance down to engineers' cabins. There's also an entrance to the forward engine room, the reciprocating engine room. I always struggle to say engine room. There used to be a watertight door here that was removed for some reason. I don't know why, but they did. Here's another entrance to engineers, and also here. There's an entrance to the turbine engine room. And yeah, some various crew cabins, crew quarters in this here. Emergency exit into tourist class. And same here as well. This wasn't an emergency exit anymore, as yeah, this was all just tourist class. Could board here. So yeah, let's go back all the way to the bow again to do the other side. All the way forward to here. So this is first class. No, it's not first class. It's tourist class. So all of this was first class before, but they could be used for second class as alternate cabins. But I believe these were permanently assigned to tourist class in the 1930s. And there were some cabins over here. And yeah, these cabins look the same as on the decks above. They had a private bath in here, and they all were connected together. Moving further forward, we have first class only. Okay. Here's the grand staircase, inaccessible to tourist class, of course. And yeah, here are just endless cabins. Both on the inside you have these smaller cabins, but also here on the outside you have the larger ones. So let's move further aft. We have a lot of lavatories on the inside. There's a lot of separating doors here as well. And here's a different floor. This was second class before, so this would have been second class flooring, pretty much. We have the staircase leading up, and we have the assistant second class steward. There was more. Yeah, assistant purser interpreter. Barbers, yeah. A lot of crew cabins sprinkled in among first class or second tourist class passengers. Here's some lavatories and more cabins. Kabinen. We have some more cabins, and we have a ladies' hairdresser. This was new to 1930s. It's also the barbershop, which was cut down in size a bit to allow room for the ladies' hairdresser over there. Oh no, I removed tripwire hook. There we go. Yeah, here is a staircase up to the galley, or the pantry up here that we saw before. It's all connected in many ways, it's fun. Here's the chief second class steward. And it's connected to the forward tourist class staircase. It's also the boarding entrance doors here. And yeah, let's do this entire area together on both sides. So, tourist class cabins look the same as originally. We have some lavatories on the inside, we have a watertight door. And here is the middle tourist staircase with the enquiry office, or purser's office actually, here. Through these doors is, yeah, more tourist class. Some more cabins. Wait. here. Also their cabins. There's also the stairs here up to the dining room. And move further forward, we get to some... Yeah, these were formerly third class areas, but these are now tourist class. We have pantry. As well as, yeah, tons of cabins. These are the simplest on the ship. Yeah, nothing more to see. Let's move on to E deck. So let's go through these portholes. We get to some more third class areas. You all saw this before, no need to repeat ourselves. Look like that. We have the stairs. Let's move forward. We get to some more third class areas. You can access these through this staircase we saw before. These were original. I think this was exactly the same as, almost exactly the same. But they removed this watertight door here. Because this area, after this watertight bulkhead, was allocated to crew. Mainly to the boiler room attendants. This was for like greasers and engineers. They look like this pretty much. And this was accessed through this staircase here. So I have a large wash place in here. Let's go through these doors. Or not doors, this wall. We have some more third class areas here. These were also fairly original. They look the same pretty much here. Access the, sorry I was yawning there. Access through this staircase from Scotland Road. Let's move further forward. We get to the linen quarters here, where you would store it, you would press it. The soil linen was in here, while the clean linen stores were in here. On the other side was the swimming pool, swimming bath, so toilet in here. But yeah, here's the swimming bath. This was modernized a bit over the years. Originally it was very bare, very barren, like it's just bare steel walls, so not very interesting. But over the years, according to some sources and the auction catalog, they did put in some simple paneling in this room. And yeah, that's not much more to it than that, pretty much. Forward, we have the Turkish baths, so we have some shampooing rooms. We have the electric bathroom in here. You all seen me talk about this before, so you know already how it works. Here is the cooling room. And here is the temperate room. And the hot room. And steam room. There's also a small ventilating space in here. Or the heating tanks that you would use to make the room hot. And this complex didn't change at all, pretty much, over the years, as far as I know. Here's the staircase again. A little bit nicer than originally. We have some crew quarters here, like female Turkish bath attendants, male Turkish bath attendants as well. Pressing room for clothes. Baggage master and squash court professional. Assistant second class steward. And second steward. Let's move forward to the steward's mess. This is where they ate, pretty much. On the other side was a third class dining room. Modernized a bit with new curtains to the portholes and some carpets. But that's pretty much it. Not much more added. And also the main larger one here, the aft one. Same here though. Here's the third class galley. It's pretty much the same over the years. Potato wash place in here. On the other side there are some crew areas. Butchers, bakers, third class stewards. Actually, let's go through the wall here. I'm gonna speed run this because this is very interesting here. Here are some engineers' quarters. They look like this. The doors got messed up for some reason. Yeah, let's deal with that later. This is engineers' quarters. More messed up doors. I hope it isn't too bad. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be bad. Oh, never mind. Okay, it's just that section. Of course, I had the engine room here in the middle. And then on the other side was also more engineers' quarters. We have the chief engineer over here. Has a pretty nice cabin. Very spacious. It has its own private bath as well. Very nice. Further forward, we have more engineers' quarters. The different engineer roles, but yeah, not much interesting to see though. There's a new staircase here going up. Let's move aft. There used to be a watertight door here that was removed. And now we are in tourist class again, the lowest point of their staircase. Formerly F deck, but this is now of course E deck. Their quarters is in here, and you can't go through to this aft section, you need to use this staircase to get to here. That's the F deck done, or E deck done, sorry. Here's the final passenger deck. This is F deck, formerly G deck. We have third class here in the bow, same as on all the decks above. Let's go through. We get to some storage space, a cargo hold. This was originally third class cabins, but they didn't really need that many cabins anymore at this point, so they allocated it instead to cargo space. Let's go through the wall. This is the first and tourist class baggage space, and it was enlarged a bit. There used to be, there we go. There used to be more third class cabins here, but those were removed later to have more baggage space. Here is the post office. There's also a donkey somewhere. There's a mail hoist going down into the mail room. Yeah, it's there as well. This is a squash court in here. Let me show you how you get to it. So you have this little staircase here going up to E deck, and another one going up to D deck that you saw before. Let's go down all the way again. Here's the squash, a little locker to it, and yeah, after this it's just boiler room, oil tanks. So not much to see. I can put on some night vision so you guys can see roughly how it looked, or how I think it would have looked. It's very bare, very simple. Basically it's overflow tanks up here, so there would have been oil in these old coal bunkers, but now it's oil instead. They would have gone up here if they needed to. Yeah, that's the case all the way back. These used to be the coal overflow bunkers, trimming spaces, but they were now replaced with oil tanks instead. Of course, Olympic also had her new double hull added, so there were oil tanks in here as well. Yeah. Let's move further aft. We have the engine room here again. I'm gonna go through this more thoroughly later. But we have the engineer's workshop on both sides. We have some oil tanks, a paint store. And here is the brine return tank room. Like, this is the cooling machinery for the ship's food stores and the refrigerated cargo spaces. So we have the machinery on 3 levels here. You have the engines here on the bottom, connected to these, I can't remember what these are. I don't really understand it completely, but yeah. There are people that know it better than me. And then on the other side we have the, what's it called? Another engineer's workshop, basically, on the side here. Recently discovered was that this was opened up. So there wasn't actually a wall here. This was discovered by the researchers over at THG, so go check them out. Titanic Honor and Glory. Here's the turbine engine room. We have some platforms here on the sides on this deck level, and we also have the flower store. This is the first section of the food stores. This changed a bit over the years in terms of layout, but yeah, its purpose of course remains the same. We have some grocery stores. We have bacon, ham and grease, fruit, milk and butter, of course, gotta have it. New staircase leading down to meat and poultry. This area is mainly for the restaurant. There is a door here separating the rest of the stores here, so this is like for the main dining rooms. We have a large vegetable store, poultry and game, eggs and so on. Here are the two hatches that you would use to load the food into the ship. So this is the two number 4 hatches. Both sides has one here. There is a watertight door here leading into the cargo hold number 5. This was divided up into 3 sections. This was usually, or originally only 2, but now there are 3. So one here, and one here. Further aft we have another cargo hold, and that's pretty much F deck done. From this point we'll go through all of the remaining decks in one go. So I want to quickly point out one thing. You know, this forward number 1 hatch, this was actually removed. This top hatch of course remained. I guess they wanted to be able to access the windlass space to provide some maintenance, but below this it was actually covered over and replaced with cabins, so this is all the way down. It wasn't used anymore. So instead we have the oil tank space here. I guess this was for, like, if they needed more oil they could put it in here. This used to be the number 1 cargo hold, but now it's just oil fuel tank 1. Let's move further aft. We get to the number 2 cargo hold. Tank top, orlop deck, or lower, or no, tank top and orlop deck. And then this is G deck or F deck, can't remember. Here is the mail room. This is probably F deck. No, this is G deck. Special room, some valuables were stored in here. And on this side there was more baggage basically. Further aft we have some more tanks. We have the boiler rooms going through all the way. So yeah, we'll go through the boiler rooms now. Of course, after the war, World War I, they converted Olympic, so she no longer used coal. She instead now only used oil. So they were plated. The furnaces were bolted over, and they added piping that would connect the boilers straight into the tanks, and the oil flow into the boilers was regulated through the use of these valves basically. So I don't know exactly how the pipes would have looked. I mainly just I made them connect into the tanks, and that's pretty much it. I then just spammed a ton of piping all over, and it doesn't need to be that precise. I don't care that much, honestly. And I hope you won't judge me too bad for it. But other than that, it's pretty similar. There's no coal, and it's not as grimy anymore, so it's nicer and more clean. So we have 6 boiler rooms in total. The number 1 boiler room only had 4 boilers. The main 5 forward ones had double-ended boilers, of course, while the very aft one, not this one, this one, had 5 single-ended boilers, so you could only put in oil on one side, not the back side. Let's move forward. We'll get to the engine room, the reciprocating engine room. This, of course, drove the outboard 2 propellers. And you could access these through many different ways, various doors. And of course you could access it through the main engine hatch here. This goes all the way up to, yeah, this, the engineer's deck house, the tank rooms and such. Let's go all the way down again. Yeah, these were steam engines, of course. I don't know that much about engines, but there's a ton of equipment around here. Basically, you took water from the boilers, you heated it up into steam. It went through the boilers, not the boilers, it went through the engines to power the propellers, and then it went through the turbine engine as well, the leftover steam. And then the water was condensed back into water, and then it was recycled through all of this machinery here back into the boilers, basically. So yeah, that's that. Let's move aft. We get to the turbine room. There's this single this is a clusterfuck. This is really hard to walk around in. But you have this main turbine here in the middle. That powers the center propeller. You have the two large condensers. They look like eggs on the sides. Let's see if I can get out. Yeah. And as these turn the water back into turn the steam back into water, basically. Tons of equipment spread around. These were circulating pumps here. It kept the water running. There are lots of different pumps and gear and machinery. Some oil tanks over here. There are people that know this far better than me though, so I won't spend too much time on this. Let's move further aft. Through this watertight door. We are here now in the electric engine room. This is one of two now, because originally this was just one big room. But after the war, no, in 1913 actually, they added this watertight bulkhead to separate this room in two. There are two engines in each room. There's one here, and then in this room there are one here and here. And you have the switchboard platform up here overlooking the forward engine room. This was always here. You also could escape up here through these vents to the two large notable vents in the second class deck house, these vents here. Let's go down again into the aft one. Still here, and let's move aft again. We get to some the shaft, tunnel, alleyway spaces for the propellers. There are two of these here, and you could actually escape up here again. Let's go up. You get into the steering gear space, and you could escape up here. And now we're on the boat deck. Not boat deck, the poop deck. And that, my friends, is pretty much it. Olympic 1934. Let's put on some render distance. Let's put on some shaders. I want to thank you all so much for watching this video, as always. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll turn off the night vision as well. This map is now out. You can download it, you can play around with it. If you see any mistakes, please put them in these comments, and I will do my best to fix them in a future update of this map. And in the meantime, I'll see you all in the next video or stream. So thank you guys for watching. Bye bye.